I guess that public trust must mean public stupidity. Meaning that because we're supposed to put an authority figure in a position of trust, that gives the public the permission to be just stupid and abandon the children so that they can get into situations that the children are not mature enough to handle. Now, when you look at the kids, they're going to think that they can handle these situations because they're kids. They have no frame of reference. They think they can do more than they really can. And that's why we set restrictions for them. But since we don't let them drive unsupervised, we don't let them vote, we barely will let them work, you have got to stop thinking that it's okay for you to send your child alone off with a martial arts instructor to go away for a tournament. I've said in a couple of other videos, if your child's going out of town, you should be going out of town. You want your child to go out of town to join the Olympics, you need to go out of town and watch your child when they go into the Olympics. I'm ranting because I saw several stories of martial arts instructors taking advantage of, I will say, of students. Some of these situations even involve giving students alcohol, okay? Where are the parents? I'm not saying that the instructor, who is at this point a criminal, is innocent. No, they should go to jail. He or she who does that should go to jail. But I'm like, where are the parents? Where are the parents? Why are you allowing your underage child to go out of town with an adult that's not you? I don't care if they've had a criminal background check. You know what? That is not their child. That's not their child. They're gonna let other people's kids do stuff that they won't let their own kids do because that's not their child. Do we really live in a society where every parent is a parent to everyone else's child? No. And since we don't, you got to remember that there's only one person's responsibility to parent your child, and that's you. It's the craziest thing. There was one story I read. The instructor was playing drinking games with two girls who had come to his hotel room while they were on the road for a Taekwondo tournament. Why are they allowed to be in his room? Why? He is not their father. There were, the way the story read, there were no other adults in the world that could have watched these kids. So even if he does something crazy like that, or wildly inappropriate, there's another adult there. They say, hey, ho, man. Whoa, what you doing? Man, you can't be letting these people come up in your room. And I wouldn't care if it was a Taekwondo instructor, male, and male students. That should be a rule, that the kids cannot be in the coach's room. Period. Not unless the coach is their father or mother and they're sharing that room while they're away. Oh, he wanted to show them video footage for them to watch of their matches so he can isolate them and take advantage of them. In the days that we live in now of laptop computers, if I want to show you footage, I can show you that in the lobby. A lot of hotels, if you can't do it in the lobby, there's a room somewhere that nobody's in where you can put the laptop up. If you need a speaker, bring a speaker and show the footage on it. Why do they need to go to his room? It makes no sense. He will have nothing in his room that he can't show in a public setting. Nothing. So I see this as a total failure of all the adults involved. Of course, a failure on the part of the criminal instructor to be moral, but there's failure on the part of the parents to just allow their kid to go away and you're not there. And you know what? You can call me all kinds of names. You can call me cynical. You can say, well, Cecil, you should, no, I don't care. Tell me I should, tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm evil. You know, look, all a criminal background check can catch is what they've done and what they've been caught for. It cannot catch what they might do. They could be so good that they just ain't been caught. And that leads me to another thing. One of the orgs, and I may do a separate video on this, broke their own rules by letting a guy compete who was actually a felon. Let him compete when he was already under suspicion and investigation for sexual misconduct within their organization. And this goes against their own rules. This isn't, he was a vice lord back in 1965, and here it is 2017. Now, this was some recent stuff. This is some stuff that probably should show up on a background check, but even if it didn't, they were already looking at him sideways. So, if they're already looking at him sideways, and by their own rules he shouldn't have been competing, why was he allowed to compete? All they did was bring shame to their org, and this was the Taekwondo Association. So for all you people who think that affiliated orgs are the blessed, divine way to go, think again. No. The best, blessed, divine way to go is for you to watch your kids. Watch your kids. Watch your kids. Everybody at that club who knows that that club allowed somebody who was on that type of investigation to compete, they should all quit. In my opinion, you're not going to, but you should all quit that org. And I'm not going to name the org, but I even saw on a job, it was a job thing I looked at for teaching martial arts part-time in the city, right? So I looked it up, and they said that you had to be, for Taekwondo, you have to be a member of that org. And I'm like, why? I'm not. I'd have no problem becoming a member, so that's not an obstacle for me. Okay, I don't have anything in my background that's going to disqualify me from, getting a coaching certification. But why? It doesn't make any sense. Now, on paper, you go, well, if you're good in your field, you should be certified. Fine. But that does not really apply to martial arts because there's too many different variables to enforce a standard. And to just teach some people, not to compete in XYZ events, but to just teach some people a few days a week, you don't need to be in a national org. And as you can see, being in a national org is not a foolproof, effective way of keeping the criminals out. I need to stop screaming before I end up raising my blood pressure and defeating the whole point of exercise. But people, I'm going to put a link to my video on 10 ways to prevent abuse in martial arts. Stop sending your kids, your children, not your college-age kids. Definitely don't send high school kids away without you being chaperoned. Don't do that. I don't care how mad they get. They don't like it, tell them to get a job. Your mom and dad, tell them to get a job. They so grown that they can go without you. Tell them to get a job. Are they paying for it themselves? Are they paying for their own lessons? And for their own uniform? And for their transportation back and forth? And for their sparring equipment? Did they sign the contract with the gym for Taekwondo or whatever it is? Could they even afford to buy this book right here? No. If they could do all that, they'd be emancipated minor. So it wouldn't apply. So as long as they are dependent on your taxes and you get your exemption, for them, they need to suck it up and tolerate mom, dad, or mom and dad, or grandma, grandpa, grandma and grandpa, or uncle or aunt, whoever. And sometimes you can't even trust the uncles and aunties. According to another article I read about this stuff. Anyway, they need to suck it up and put up with the parental supervision being on the trip. Now, I remember when I was a kid, oh, well, we didn't have enough chaperones for this trip, so we can't go. Oh, man. Let them all man. Let them all man. It's for their own good. It's for their own protection. Whether we want to admit it or not, you have to remember, and different experts tell you this, some predators take up youth sports positions so they can have access to their victims easily. So don't make it easy for them. In addition to the background checks that are required for wherever, however, whoever they teach for, with, under, the best line of defense is you, parents. Watch your children. Don't abandon them to the instructors. Watch your kids. Please. Stop sending them away with people. If the thing is out of town, you go out of town with them. Peace.